For more on this, I'm joined now by Arwa Damon. She's a journalist who covered the region extensively. I remember this during our time at CNN. She's also founder of International Network for Aid, Relief and Assistance. Arwa, as we just mentioned, Saudi Arabia is rejecting President Trump's proposal, but help us understand just how inflammatory that remark is being received in the region.
Well, first of all, it's quite remarkable and rather stunning that we have just heard the US president, the leader of, the self-declared biggest democracy of the world, effectively, openly saying that the US has the potential intent to draw the United States into a war crime, the war crime of forced displacement of an entire population, which effectively amounts to ethnic cleansing. Now, at this stage, some analysts are dismissing this as, Trump's regular sort of at times illogical or oftentimes illogical rhetoric. But at the same time, these words carry a lot of weight. And what it does is send ripples of fear through the leaderships in the region, through the governments here, but also through the Palestinian population itself. When it comes to the leadership here, with the pressure that the US has been wanting and has been putting on Egypt and Jordan to take, at least one, if not 1.5 or more million Gazans has been enormous. Those two countries have been pushing back, but remember how reliant they are on US support and US aid. Now, Saudi Arabia's pretty quick statement is rather telling, and it might serve to give Jordan and Egypt the sort of courage they need to continue to stand up to the United States. The thing is, hypothetically speaking, if Palestinians were guaranteed the right of return, we would be having a very different conversation right now. But the notion of forced displacement, having to go through exactly what their grandparents and their great grandparents went through in 1948 and 1967, to have their homes forcibly taken from them, their land forcibly taken from them, families divided. This is the worst nightmare unfolding right now for Palestinians.
What was missing from President Trump's remarks, he said it could create jobs by reconstructing the area, was what Palestinian people actually want. And now at this almost second phase of the ceasefire and hostage release agreement, I'm wondering how these remarks itself might endanger the agreement continuing.
Well, that's an ongoing fear among the population. And I was actually talking to a couple of people about that, this very morning, trying to ask them what they were thinking. And, the general sort of remarks that you hear is that, on the one hand, some people they're so focused, Errol, on trying to clean out what's left of their home, if there's anything left, or trying to figure out if, there's a large enough slab of concrete or, some little bit of land that can be cleared of rubble to put their tents closer to what was their home. They're trying to figure out how, as they move from south to north, especially into the northernmost parts of Gaza, where they're going to have access to clean water, that they're not necessarily hyper-focused on what it is that the US is saying, but as they are thinking about it and when they're asked the question, they keep highlighting how it's trauma on top of trauma on top of trauma. The soul, the psyche of especially Gazans right now has been so psychologically shredded. They're trying to cope with everything that they've lost. On top of that, there's this very real fear that the ceasefire isn't going to hold. And then if it doesn't, what do they actually do? And on top of all of that, right now, the president of the United States talking about possibly permanent forced displacement. It's brain and soul crushing, Errol.
Well, Arwa, it's great to have you join us and remind us that the suffering continues for so many there. Arwa Damon, thank you.